Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Laundry Talk Show. Today's video is going to be on how to discipline your children without hitting or spanking for ages mainly 0 to 5 years old. Not to say you can't discipline with the same tactics or the same ways for older children, but this is the main focus of this video. If you're interested, stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment. All right, everyone, we're back. I think it's 2 seconds. All right, everyone. So today's episode, as I mentioned, is about disciplining your children without having to hit or spank for ages 0 to 5 years old. But before then, check out my shawl. Ta-da! Ta-da! My sister-in-law gave me this from Ecuador. I love it. It's a little hot. It's a little warm because, it's already hot in my home, but I'm going to keep it on just because I look cute. Anyway, once again, everyone, hi everyone, welcome to episode 5. This is my friend Denise. She has been here before. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome, and hope you see the other episodes 1 through 4. And let's get started with our video today. So we have broken down this video into 2 sections. So 0 to 3 years old, I'm going to cover that. And Miss Denise will cover ages 3 to 5 years old. And the reason why we did it that way is because I have a 1-year-old and she happens to have a recently turned 4-year-old. So we got this, we know what we're talking about based on our experiences mainly. So once again, as I mentioned in other videos, the videos that we make are based on our personal experiences as moms, as well as working in a daycare. So we take what we learn, we take our trainings and our experiences, both as our career and parenting, and this is where we give you guys the information. So let's get started. Between the age of 0, basically newborn, and the first year, there's not much disciplining going on, so there's not much to talk about in that area. It's mainly a mental checklist of signs to look for when the children are in discomfort. So that they're not doing it, they're not quote unquote misbehaving or quote unquote acting up because they want to or they want to bother us. They're doing it because clearly something is bothering them, whether they're not feeling well or they have soiled diapers or they're just hot or colicky. There's many things to look for, and I'm actually gonna make a list and put it in the description so you guys can have that for you for your future references. And other than that, then I'll get into the other group. So mental list. Is your child hungry? Do they have a dirty diaper, soiled or stool diaper? Do they have colic? Maybe the milk is not sitting well with them. Perhaps they need a new milk. They might be hot or they might be cold. Sometimes also I notice that something that goes very, how do I say this? Like, it's very uncommon, so it's overlooked. That's the word. So it's very overlooked. Is that when you put clothes on babies, I noticed that, you might leave like a little piece of a tag that's bothering them, and that might cause discomfort, but then you checked everything else and it looks fine. And it could be like a tag, or when you take off the tag, sometimes a little piece of the plastic stays inside, like their labels on their clothing, and that might itch or bother. Maybe their shoes are too small. There's just an array of things that could be. Now, after they turn 1, from 1 to 3, it's not that you're just gonna full-blown start disciplining your children like, hey, you're 1, that's it. This is a checklist of things you need to know. No, that's not the way it's going to be. But all jokes aside, there's still the mental checklist to keep in mind, but also keep in mind that they're starting to walk. When they're 1-year-old, they're starting to walk, they're starting to explore. Maybe they pinch their finger. Perhaps they want something, they do not know how to say that they want it. They want a toy, or they want to play with something, they want your attention. In our case, we have our daughters with us all day long when we work. So imagine trying to discipline your child among other children. It could get even more difficult than just being at home. Sometimes, I've noticed that Miss Denise, we work together. Denise's daughter, Sophia, she just wants to be with her mom, or so does my baby Camila. They just want to hug. They want to be with us. Maybe they're, I don't want to say the word jealous, but maybe they just want, hey, you're hugging another kid. I want that. Yeah. Sometimes it could be that your child wants you to get off your phone, stop using your tablet. Don't talk to this other person in your home, in your household. They don't want you to be with their dad. Give me the attention, not my dad, not my siblings. So these are all reasons why your children might act up. So now that we've covered reasons why, now we're going to explain to you, or at least I'm going to explain from 0 to 3, what can you do instead of hitting your child. So you know your child more than anyone else does. You know your child more than your child knows themselves. So because of that, you should know what's happening more than someone else. So for example, my baby Camila, she's 1. Sometimes I know something is wrong. Forget about everything else of the checklist. It's beyond that. I feel like something's not right with her because it's not her normal behavior. So regular behavior, when it's interrupted or it's changed or it's different, that can be something that can let you know something's wrong. So as opposed to hitting them or spanking them or screaming at the child, try to gather up whatever little patience you have. When you've told them 1,000 times the same thing, put that down. Don't get up there. Stop crying. Yeah, I just fed you 30,000 times in the past 1 hour, because they get hungry like every 2 seconds. Instead of losing it, instead of like losing your composure or getting upset and hitting them, try to understand when they're coming from. So first thing, other than the mental checklist, understanding your child, because you know your child more. Then if understanding doesn't work because you're like, I have no idea why on God's green earth you are still crying. Okay, can you please stop it? So patience, understanding your kid. Then try to find solutions. So if you see the child is crying and is closer to the feeding time, to eating, then give them a snack. Maybe it's not the time for a meal yet, give them a snack. So understanding your child and where the discomfort or the behavior is coming from, offer them something, an alternative or a snack. So I noticed that sometimes Camila starts crying, or just every little thing bothers her. She gets so irritated. And then I'm like, oh, I normally have a feeding schedule that we do because Monday through Friday we work together and we have them. But in general, I know when she ate the last time, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Let me think of other things. Wait, did she eat? Maybe she doesn't want a full meal, but probably she wants a snack. If she's around the kitchen area, I know most likely she wants that. Because other than touching the cabinets and opening all the doors and taking out 3,000 pots and pans, she might be hungry. If she's playing with a toy and the toy falls or the sound of the toy is off, then I'll know, okay, so she wants me to turn the toy on. So find solution, find alternatives to what they're doing or what they might need. So understanding your child, giving them something. Another way not to hit. Sometimes you gotta raise your voice. I'm not saying scream and Bloody Mary. I'm not saying curse or anything like that. Yeah. But you do have to be stern. Like no means no, yes means yes, and there's nothing in between right now because I've told you 1,000 times. So just maybe raise your voice a little bit, maybe a little pitch or a little volume or a little sternness, like no, and give them the serious look. Like I said no, and no means no. This yes, this no. Point it out. This is sharp. You're gonna get hurt. So no, not safe. Yes, you can use this one. So your voice, maybe change it a little bit. Another thing you can do other than hitting or spanking could be when they raise their voice, you lower your voice. I know that's very hard to do. And believe me, I know I have 3 kids. All right, 1-year-old, 10-year-old, and 21-year-old. It is hard as beep. Very hard, but try. They raise their voice, you lower your voice. The higher their voice, the lower your voice. It will get to a point they're like, what are you saying? So they're gonna have to match your voice and lower theirs in order for them to understand what you're saying. So higher their voice, you lower yours. Another thing that you can do is have options for the children, but do not overwhelm them. Dealing with children, remember, from 0 to 3 years old, or from 1 to 3, however you want to look at it. We're dealing with children that are very young. So give them options, but not overwhelming stimulation. So if you want to give them options, what are options? You have A, you have B, and you possibly have C. No, not you. No, I'm just saying. You have A, you have B, and you possibly have C. Don't give them 10 toys because then now you're confusing them. Now they're in discomfort once again. And it's like, seriously? Now I cause a discomfort. Wow, great. Pat yourself on the shoulder. No, that's not a great thing. So if your child is in discomfort, calm them down by giving them options, giving them alternatives, as I mentioned a moment ago. And of course, my daughter is in discomfort right now, so give me a sec. Tráemela, por favor. Bring her over. I'll just have to do, I'm not chopping this off. Bring her. Hurry. So yeah, so when they're uncomfortable, find out why. So this video is being done a little late. We are running behind schedule. And of course, my baby is not having it being with her sister and being away from me for too long because she wants to know what's happening here, right? Yeah, no, not them, you. So those are ideas that I have for you guys. And of course, I will put those in the description so you guys can go back and refer to them or refer back to this video. So for purposes of calming her down without the hitting or spanking, and for not making the video too long, I'm going to pass it over to Miss Denise so she can now tell you ways that you can find out what's making your child uncomfortable at the age of 3 to 5 and ways that you can work with them within that age. So, Miss Denise, take it away.
Hello there. Ages 3 to 5, it's challenging because ages 3 to 5 children tend to wanna test the waters. They want to test your patience. They want to see how high, how low, how far they can go with you. So this is when you really need lots of patience. My daughter's 4. And just like Liz said before, with giving them options, you have to be careful with how much options you give them. And you have to kind of let them know from the beginning exactly what it is that you want them to do. So if you give them a toy, let's say you give them blocks, you will tell them you can play with the blocks. When you're done, you must pick it up and put it away. You can't just say play with the blocks because then they're not gonna pick it up. That's not one of the things you've told them in the beginning. So you have to speak to them face to face. You have to look at them in their face because if you don't, you're gonna lose them. You're gonna lose them and they're gonna be like, whatever she said, whatever. All I heard was play. So before you let them play, yes. So before you let them play, you have to sit them down or, get down to their level and kind of speak to them and say, okay, right now you will play with the blocks. You can build whatever you want. And when you're done, you're going to pick them up, put them back where it belongs. And, whether you take a picture, that's another thing. You have to make it fun for them. If you just tell them here, just play with it, just do whatever, it kind of like, they're like, they don't know. So, but if you give them options, like, okay, maybe you could build a building, a car, a horse, a farm, I don't know, your grandmother's kitchen. Like, if you give them something to build, then they'll look forward because they're like, wow, my mom told me I can build this, so I'm going to show her I can do it. But if you tell them, okay, just build whatever, I'll be in the kitchen, they're just, to them, it's not fun. It's not something really that you gave them to do. It's not a challenge, kind of. To them, it's just like, okay, whatever, I'll just put.
Yeah, and but that's where you get.
And that's where you get the whole throwing the blocks, in the air. You find them behind the bed, behind the desk, behind the TV, in the drawers, in the toilet. Listen, it's happened. Also, you have to know it. You have to know your children. You have to know when they're tired. You have to know if something is bothering them. I had an incident with Sophia in Puerto Rico, and we were in Walmart, and she wanted something, and I told her no, and she started crying and crying and crying, and people are looking at me like, are you gonna calm her down? Like, are you gonna do something? Like what?
And of course, they want you to do what? They want you to spank your kids.
They want you to be like, stop crying! And my cousin's wife is looking at me like, is she gonna stop crying? Like, Like, why are you not doing anything? Like, what's going on with you? And I'm just like, first of all, she's not gonna cry blood. Second of all, she will, trust me, kids will get tired of crying, especially when they see they're not getting what they want. And I feel like a lot of an error that parents do is that they give them what they want at the moment. They give them what they want at the moment, but then when they get to the checkout, it's like, okay, well, I said no, so you can't have it. And they just snatch it away from them, and there you go crying again. So to not go through that, I didn't give Sophia what she wanted. So Sophia cried for a bit, and she, you know, she was in the cart, you know, throwing her feet up in the air, and I want to get out of here, and I want to go home, and I want to go home, and I want to go home. So, you know, everyone was like, okay, is this like really her child? Like, is she kidnapping her? But I know Sophia, I know my daughter, and I know that she was tired. I know that she was hungry. So I just had to come out. I just had to come out from that. Once she calmed down, once she had calmed down, you know, I sat down with her. I spoke to her. I let her know that what she did was not acceptable. And I let her know why. You have to explain to your children when you don't want them to do something, why is it that you don't want them to do it? You can't just be like, I don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
But why?
Expectations.
Yeah, like why are they gonna get hurt? Are they gonna fall? Are they gonna bleed? What is gonna happen? So trust me, it took a lot of patience, because when I say that she was screaming and crying, I'm telling you, everyone on the line was like, what is wrong with this child? Why, you know, it was crazy. But I held my composure. I took a few deep breaths, and I was like, you know, I'm on vacation. I don't want her to think that, you know, every time she comes on vacation, she's gonna get screamed at or she's gonna get hit. So, you know, I just waited for her to calm down. I spoke to her. I explained to her why I didn't get her what she wanted. We ended up going to get something to eat, and she was like, I ate, yay, party time. Like, she calmed down. And it's like Liz said, you have to know your children. You have to know what's wrong with them, and you can't just give them everything you want, everything they want, because then that's where she's spoiled, she's this, she's that. All parents want to spoil their kids, you know, and I spoil Sophia to an extent, but she also has to know that she has to earn, you know, me buying her stuff and spoiling her. So she has to listen, and it's something that even now, you know, she's 4, she's getting better at, but she's really like, she really wants to do her own thing. She wants to be grown, and she wants to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. So once again, you have to kind of step down to their level. You have to speak to them, tell them why not, and you know, and also tell them something good about what they want to do. Because a lot of people think, oh, because, you know, they want to climb. You tell them, no, there's no climbing. There's nothing wrong with climbing. You can climb. They can climb when they're in a park, in a monkey bar, but with your supervision. But you don't tell them, oh, no, that's bad. You don't do that. You don't ever do that. Because what if they want to climb Mount Everest when they get older? There's nothing wrong with that. So you have to, it's like a balance. You can't tell them that everything that they're doing is wrong and that they can never do it. Because then at the end of the day, they're going to grow up thinking they can't do it. They can't do certain things. So you have to kind of tell them why at that moment they shouldn't do it. So, and like I said, everything is a balance. Not everything that they do is terribly wrong. Now, you know, now if it's something that's dangerous, like if you see them in the kitchen and they're going to take a knife, you know, you explain to them why. But once again, when they're cooking, when they're older and they have a knife, it's not a bad thing. So this is why you have to be careful with how you tell them that it's bad.
So
or why it's wrong at the moment.
Basically what Denise is trying to say and what I'm trying to say based on our stories, again, not to make the video any much longer, but we're talking about expectations. A lot of times if you explain to your children what the expectations are, whether they are an infant, whether they're a toddler, they're a preschooler, they're school age, as long as you tell someone, a child or anyone, any human, what the expectations are, and you verbalize those expectations in a comfortable and trustworthy and nice tone, and you explain, this is what I want and this is why I want it. And then if they don't want that, then try to work with them. Everything at these ages, the younger age should be, for example, my age 0 to 3, should be child-centered. So they're the ones that dictate what's going on. You just got to make sure that it's safe. You got to make sure that it's okay for them to be able to do it, and then kind of like let them have that green light to do so. Stop saying the word no, 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 no for everything, and you will see how the spanking or the hitting or the screaming or the losing of patience that happens with you is going to start decreasing. So whether they are younger children or older children that are pushing the boundaries and testing you constantly, if you let them know what the expectations are, it'll make it a lot easier. Knowing your children makes it easier. Giving them options that are safe for them makes it easier.
Yeah. Spending time with them makes it easier.
Exactly. Another thing is that a lot of times we are on our phones. We are making phone calls, dealing with work, we're cleaning. We have to make our shopping list. Or shop online. We are so busy, and they want our attention and they need our attention. And it is our duty to give them attention. Right now, look what happened. My 1-year-old could not be with her sister any longer because she wants to be here, or she wants something that she's not getting for where she's at right now, which is the room, while I'm able to record. It's not all about me. It's not all about me having to make this video for you guys, or me having to do 1,000 other things that mommies do on a daily basis. I have to understand that she has needs. So I have to either stop what I'm doing, which in this case, I let you guys see. I have to either stop what I'm doing, or I have to include her in what I am doing. Then after she's satisfied, or she's with me for a while, now she's able to be with her sister doing something she wants to do. She's comfortable, and now she doesn't want mommy right now at this moment. So I'm okay to be here. Did I have to scream at her, spank her, anything like that? No. But you have to understand that there are a lot of times we don't want to make that time to stop what we're doing in the middle of our tracks. Excuse me, I have something to do. Give me a moment, or Camila needs me. Hold on a second. I will stop a conversation in its tracks. Either I'm talking to the president, but I'm talking to a parent, either I'm talking to my tax person. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I could be on the phone or in person. If a child, whether it's my daughter or someone in my daycare, needs me, excuse me, not in a rude way, but, oh, I'm sorry, can you give me a moment? I have to, because this child needs me. This child wants something. It might not be important for me, it might not be important for you, but it definitely is important to that child. So to avoid the hitting and the spanking and the screaming and the losing your patience, please follow a lot of the tips that we're giving you. We definitely, hands down, 100% have used them with either our children or other children that we work with, or our friends, families, neighbors, acquaintances, anyone. And they have worked. Now, there are instances where the behavior is extreme, but that's not for this video. That's for another video, and that has other techniques and tips and ways to deal with it. If you guys are interested in any other content, in any other videos, in any other parenting skills or hacks or tips or ideas, let me know in the comments below. If you want any other videos that you want us to make, let me know. Miss Denise will be a common guest on my shows, because again, we work together and we're best friends. We're practically like twin sisters. So we share so much that our insights are so similar, even though we do differ in certain techniques and certain ways we do things. But we want just to bring you guys the information coming from not just me, but a guest, in this case, Miss Denise, many of times. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smile, subscribe, like, and share if this is something you like. And thank you so much for watching. Your time is very valuable for us. Bye. Bye.